This week I'm painting figures inside my local farm shop. Well, hi everyone, and welcome back to my YouTube art tutorial channel. I'm a professional artist working from my studio in Essex in the UK and painting plein air in the countryside. Well, after visiting my local farm shop this morning, I decided to take a sketch back, and that's the sketch I made. Now, how do we paint? Well, first thing I'm going to do, I'm going to lay in a bit of basic colour. Now, it's a bit of warm colour, very, very weak, not even damping the paper, because I just think we want, it's just my impression that it was a bit light up in the top, a bit slightly orangey perhaps. So I'm just wiping, technical term, some colour onto the paper. And in actual fact, most of the fruit that's on display is quite sort of warm. May paint around the figures at this stage. Not sure why, but we'll see whether that's the right choice in the end. But at this moment I'm painting around the figures, quickly going in, and now as I come down, not too worried about this because it's all considerably darker. So the figures are there, just painting in around those, and the actual floor covering, it's quite dark, so why not pick up a grey. Here I'm going to use Payne's grey, don't know why, but there you go, with a little bit of that alizarin that I used earlier, perhaps. Payne's grey and alizarin, what do we get from that? Oh well, that's not a bad grey to start. So that's the grey colour for the floor, and still painting around the figures. Can't tell you why at this moment, but there is a reason. Not sure. Well, not sure that there is a reason really, but we'll see. It's just something I think would probably work to my advantage if I did, but that's not, doesn't mean to say that that's the final, that's the final colour really. But we will see. Only time will tell as this painting progresses. Now, just as that begins to dry, what I'm going to do, I'm going to put in a little bit of the orangey yellow into that. That's the cadmium yellow and cadmium red. Bit of red going in places too, because this will be, don't want that to run too far, but the start of the apples. So, you know, can put a little bit of that in the distance while we're at it, because this is an apple farm, but obviously they've got lots of other vegetables that they supply, and very good it is too. So that's why I use them so often. Yeah, that's looking okay. Brilliant. Just want to wipe away, because that wall is a bit lighter, just wipe away some colour there, because I don't want too much of that colour running up onto the top of the wall. Yeah. Now I'm going to, while I'm waiting for it to dry, I'm going to paint in the figures. Hope it's dry, almost dry, and the cap, or the rather chilly day, so we've obviously got some warm headwear here, and picking up varying colours that I could see. Oh, there's a lovely blue, cobalt blue perhaps, for the the chappy, small chap here. It's quite a strong colour there. That's looking good. There we go. It's a matter of picking up the shape as well, of course. And then we've got blue here in this one. There is other little colours, but it's a varied sort of, some light, some darks. There we go. And just tidy up the edges of this one, because at the moment they're spreading. There we go. Don't mind a bit of that, but see if it's drying. Yes, it's all a matter of drying time, really, you know. Then we've got a nice sort of orangey brown bobble, sort of red orangey brown, I suppose, almost mustard colour. Don't know how we get that, but there you go. Not too concerned what. There we go. That is the bobble on the back of that. Oh, the bobble there, forgot about that. It's cream bobble right on there. There we go. That's that. Now we've got this mustardy colour jacket, a bit more red, a bit more raw sienna, mustardy colour. Right, go for some brown then with that, bit of burnt umber. May give me the colour I'm looking for. I'm hoping anyway, and a bit more yellow. You know, it's trial and error. Quite often there's more error than trial, to be fair about it, but that's the way it goes. And this little chappy here is with his mother, or her mother, sorry, I think it's she. There we go. And we need to pick around the coat. Comes down like that. Just laying in really colour. Oh, there is some of this colour in the jacket, a bit more red. Nice to vary it, I think, rather than just keep using the same colour. It's not vital that we pick up exactly the colour. This is purely for my own benefit, this picture. So, but it's just nice to try anyway if we can. That's that, gradually getting those colours in. That's good. Okay, just got to shape this, because that hat is running out of control. The background is a bit wet. Oh, there you go. Won't affect the overall outcome, but always nice to do it while it's wet. If you play around with it when it's completely dry, then it never really works. Good. Now the jackets, I'm going to use Payne's Grey. I'm using Payne's Grey a lot these days. Not sure why. Putting Indian red with this to give me a nice dark sort of grey colour. And this figure stands there nicely. And no, I'm not really sure why I'm using that colour quite a lot, but lots of coats this year seem to be of a grey colour. So trying, if I can, to emulate that colour. Obviously times change. Keep one or two little highlights here and there. You know, it does change depending on seasons really, and what's in trend, I suppose, if you call it that. Right, we have a coat there of a similar colour. Yeah, it is actually, so that's going to be the same. But this lady has a bag, and it's got a strap down to the shoulder. bag there. So there's a bag hanging on the back there. There we go. I'm adding a bit more blue to this, bit of cobalt. It's ringing the changes rather than having too grey. Just thought that seemed to work, and just fiddling around really to try and get the feeling of a coat of some sort. Oh, and that'll tuck around there as well, won't it? Yeah, must remember to tuck that round. There we go. And then the arm comes down. We'll show that shortly. Whoops, that's all painted over. Oh well, there you go. That's life. In an artist's world, that's life. Blending colours and spreading colours, always something that creates lots of interest to these figures. Right, the other is more grey, so it's got a bit more. It's a bit lighter. Got a bit more the bit more red in there. Yeah, that's it. A bit more of a warmer grey. That's a bit darker, but this is like a warmer grey colour. Not too concerned about getting that right either, really, to be fair. There we go. Always very interesting when doing these figure studies, and always pleased to attempt them anyway. Not always complete success, but nice to have. It's a challenge, isn't it? I think that's probably the term we're looking for. A challenge. Right, a bit more blue in that for the young man's coat. Is it? No, not blue. Red as well. You know, it's I'm mixing and playing with colours just to try and get something near to the colour that I'm seeing. Oh, that's it. There we go. Bit of Payne's grey in there as well. Very difficult to explain colour mixes on this one, because I need to get it down fairly quick. I'd like to. Don't want to play around too long, and in doing so sometimes I forget to tell you exactly the colour mixes I'm using, which is a bit of a shame for you, but there you go. Hoping that doesn't spoil your enjoyment of the video. It really is a matter of mixing and matching of the colours, really. Right, blue hat, yes, blue hat. Right, cobalt blue, bit of Payne's grey. There we go. Nice dark blue. Just the rim, like an edging round there like that. A lot of people say to me, how do you get your brush to shape up? Well, to be fair, it's a struggle. So, you know, if you think an artist just paints and everything works out, probably doesn't really, because right, where's that mustardy colour? Oh, there it is. Because we have the same sort of problems that that you encounter, really. Anyway, I'm babbling on a bit. Let's put a little bit more blue into this hat in places. There we go. Just pick up a bit more shape with that. There you go. We can see that there are some lighter sections, but also some darker sections. There we go. So that's coming along nicely. Just putting in the trousers of all of the figures, varying mixes. that's coming around there, sorry, and varying mixes, that's the bag there that's hanging. Go. And so that's it, take them right out of picture, that's fine, no problem there. So that's all basically the figures put in with colour. Just going to put in a bit of dark colour for the indication of some form of shoes on there. A little bit darker there, there, there. Any other darker colour? Possibly there. Good, that's fine. Right, now the apples. Right, now got lovely orangey colours here. Reds and yellows, bright reds, bright yellows, whatever you use. Not concerned really. And there's quite a bit of yellows in those, one or two red touches. So I'm putting some reds in first in varying shapes, or orange really, I suppose. Could have been a bit redder than that. Just trying to emulate some colour really that I can see. Right, yellows. Meant to be apples. Not sure whether they look like apples, but there you go. There you go. This one is more yellow. It's an impression of fruit. Apples if you like, but if you can see any other fruit in there, that's fine with me. And fully yellow now for the variety here. Try and pick up a reasonable form of shape to these tops of these apples, because we've already got a light wash underneath, so we can leave that. And now we go more red, nice sort of red colour now for this variety. And the marks should get a little smaller as we go away into the distance, because obviously with perspective in mind we do get a variety of we do get a change of colour as we go. Oh, and size, sorry, change of size. Right, bit more yellow here for these. Not too concerned with these, I run out of picture. Then in the distance we want to blur these a little, so we're not sort of putting in at this stage too much detail. We're putting banks of them in. See what I mean? No detail here, because once we put in detail then we spoil the detail in the background, in the foreground. So the little bit of detail on the foreground but none on the background. Okay, right, bananas, real strong yellow, nice yellow bananas. Here we go. How do we do yellow bananas? Well, we do that for a start. There again, not being concerned with detail, of course. Then we go in with like a burnt umber for just a hint at here and there at the tips at the top, hoping that they'll gradually run in here and there. Just the little patches at the top. There we go. Yep, I'll leave that at that. Let them run in and blend together. Good. Now the pictures. Ooh, right, now this is where it gets very interesting. Blurred images. The owner of the company stands there. The tractor is there like that. Okay. The background is quite cool. here around the figure, quite light, like that. That's it. I'll square that up in a second. And also around the back there, back of the old tractor. That's it. So that all blurs together nicely, which is what I'm looking for. Just lift that away. There we go. That's perfect. This one is apples. There again, nothing too detailed. Large apple there, one or two little apples there. And then around that is blurred with a bit of yellow. There we go, picture of apples. Oh, it goes up there, doesn't it? Yeah. Okay. And then we've got lots of apples in a tray there in these pictures. And then we've got a figure that stands in a grey, sort of cool grey figure standing there with a background there again quite cool and blue, which is what we want. There we go. Cuts around there. And then we've got this cool colour for a bin with apples in the bin, which got a lot of light on these pictures, so they do need to be simplified. And the background, oh, bit of brown, cool brown colour for the overall background of that bin with, there we go. Oh, and that goes up there. Does it? Yes, it does. Okay. So I talked to myself. Not sure got that drawing quite right, but there you go. Now the blackboard. Well, Payne's grey, which is pretty much blackboard, and Indian red. Quite dark, but it does have a shine to it, so we don't want to be too dark with this. In other words, enough water, but right, let's see if we can hit this anywhere near what we're looking for, because we do have colour in there with objects and images running around the outer edge of varying shapes and sizes. Then we do have a bit of writing, so we'd like to try and keep that. The outer edges are actually dead shaped, so there's another little bit of writing there, then that there, another little bit of writing there, come down to another shape of some sort. Let's just bring that down, trying to keep a smooth edge on this. That's it. Then another little bit of writing. We've also got to remember perspective in this writing, but we're not really concerned. Whoops. We're a little bit concerned we go out like that. Other than that, it's much of a muchness, really. I think we could say. Right, shaped down there. That's it. And there, object there, bit of writing. It's all getting, you know, rather interesting once you start this sort of thing. Things get quite frantic in the end. And there's just a motif there. Oh, there's quite a, what's that? A depiction of a leak, possibly. Anyway, let's finish that off like that. Good. Now I want to blur these colours in, so We've got the odd little red, but not too intense, dropped in here and there into those colours. That's pretty much all red. There we are. And then we have, oh, we even have a blue. Don't know what that depicts, but there's a blue there of something. Then we have a mustardy yellow. There we go, going to our mustardy colour for that area there, although it's a bit red, so it's not worried. Red carrots, right. I think red carrots is about something like that, I think. But there you go. Is that a red carrot? Well, you know, let's just, there's a lot of red going on. Let's hit a bit of yellow. That will ring the changes. Nice strong yellow, which needs putting in here and there. It's a notice board basically with images drawn on it, which I'm not going to depict at all. And round the round the outside edge is like a brown, so I'm going burnt umber with this, not burnt sienna. Could do, but I'm running out of burnt sienna, so let's go burnt umber. Go, and then we run down like that. That's the finish of the board, and then we run up like that, the outside there. Not concerned if we get a bit of running in either, into that, because not concerned about that at all. And around the hat, and then along the bottom edge, and that frames the board like that. That's the way I saw it on the day, like that. Oh, what we got here? Ah, yes, I've let's just lose that a little bit. There we go. Just taking a bit off. A bit sort of heavy there. Don't want that to interfere with the rest of the picture. That's better. I think that's okay. Lift a little bit of that off, and then we've got the apples again, yellows, and there we go, because we've got a bottle of wine there, a couple of apples. Well, it's not wine, sorry. It's actually there. Let's pick up some green. Yeah, a bit of green there for the bottle. Then we've got the label. There we go. Sorry, it's there. Just thinking, bit of grey now. Lovely apple juice. That's what I'm trying to get round to saying, but there you go. So that's what that depicts. Apple juice that they produce themselves here at Lathcoats. Very nice too. I have had some actually. And a bit of writing on the label, which is not sure what that's all about, but there you go. We'll leave it at that, I think. Just that'll tone back in a sec anyway. There we go. That's good. Just mop that away at the edge. Right. One or two little bits of modelling perhaps to the figure there. And what about the tractor? What we got here? Right. we go. Wheels, just before it dries really. Figure here. There we go. I think that probably does it, to be quite honest. Apart from lifting off again, because that shouldn't be that far down. There we go. Lift off a bit of colour. It's a good thing about this wood pulp paper, you can lift off colour. Right, one or two finishing touches. I've obviously touched in one or two little areas as well, but let me just do a little bit of edging around these rather blurred pictures that I'm creating here. The light is coming from the top, so this is more or less shadows. As you can see, I've just put in a couple of bulbs in the top, and this more or less is the shadow from it. The picture standing away from the wall, really. Thickness of them, that's all that is. A bit under there, and of course we need a little bit here where that's cast there like that. There we go, one or two little touches there give indication of writing. That's it. Now we want more or less shadow work, I suppose, and for that I'm going to use the ultramarine blue, a little Payne's grey, and a little cadmium red, because that to me will give me, let's try this figure here, the sort of shadow work that I'm looking for on that arm there, round the neck, down there's an edge at the back there, and this is going to be blurred out, so I shall damp that edging shortly, but that gives that effect of shadow. Shows up the arm too, a couple of little areas there, and then I'm just going to use a damp brush just to soften that as it goes into that back. There we go. So that more or less does it, I think. This one here, little on the inside of that rim of that hat, touch on the underside there, and then we've got an area there that has some shadow. It's going to be a bit careful here, and then we just soften that. There we go. Go a little deeper right in the edge there just before it dries, and then we've got the coat running down the back like that. A couple of little areas of creasing that I like to put in, which is always a useful thing to show. That's it. Perfect. Then of course we've got a little bit along that bottom edge there, down there. Now this figure has some there, a little bit of coat shape there, a little bit of shape there too. The arm, then the arm comes down like that, and there again a little bit of softening, nothing too clearly defined. There we are. And that goes down there, and then we have the underside of the coat there, and just around that sort of area there we'll pull a little bit in around there like that. And now the figure in the foreground, the young lad in the foreground, or what about the jeans of this one? Yeah, we will put some form in that. That's it. And these shoes, trainers or whatever they are on the figures there. That little chappie's been put in. There we go. This coat of this child in the background there, like that. There's an arm on that child there, so that would take some colour. And then on the underside of the coat, like that, and down the legs in places. Nice to see a bit of blending of colour, don't mind that at all. Just knock away some shadows, the lights in places, because we don't want too much light down that area. We're looking to attract the eye in some areas but not in others. Whoops, there's a lot on that brush there. Look at that. Amazing, isn't it? What you do when things go wrong. Anyway, we're a little bit darker down the front edge there. That's good. Lift that up and away like that. What else have we got? Oh, there's a dark band to that there. Oh, that'd be interesting. Shows up the bag. And this is dark as well, darker than the background, so that's useful. There's a little bit of ribbing on this too. And very dark on the underside there, like that. And of course down the trouser leg there, that'll soften in. But remembering all the time we've got light coming from the left, from those spotlights up the top. So that's always useful to remember. Yeah, we'll go along with that. Just deepen that shadow there. That's it. Perfect. Oh, and we'll have a little bit of deepening of a shadow on the inside there, and at the top of that just shows a bit of form. Oh, and of course on the underside of that, you know, shadows are very important to any subject really, whether it be this type of subject or any other subject, to be honest with you. Put a bit of lining under there, down there. Right, where else do we need it? Inside there, inside there, inside there, along the back edge, just to get a bit of shape and form. Now we have some idea of, you know, I'm just using this shadow colour to do lots of different things really. I will deepen it shortly, and yeah, that's looking good. There's another little figure in the background, so I'm just blurring that figure away. Right, bit of flesh colour. Where have we got flesh? Got that chappie's face just showing there, and the young lad. See a little bit of colour there. Other than that, not a great deal, I don't think. So that's looking good. Yep, that's okay. That's all right. I'm just running through in my head the next move really, because we're nearly there. And we've got shadow under a rim there. That's better. Let's give depth to that. And then we obviously have shadow under there to give depth to that. I'm using the rigger for this. I could have used the bigger brush, but at the moment I think the rigger is doing the trick. And putting some embellishment on that. Writing there. good. Okay, right, is this dry enough to complete what I want? Well, I'm hoping, if that's the case, putting in a little bit of lining there, trying to keep perspective but not too concerned. Bit of lining there, like that, and a bit of where it finishes on the ground. This is where it clearly defines where where it finishes, really. One or two little touches here and there along the back, just to give, it all helps to give form and shape. And I think anything you paint needs that. Bananas, look at that, look. All of a sudden you got bananas. Well, can't go wrong, can you? Right, now how do we get some shadow on these apples? Just hinting at shadow here and there, not too much. That's it. Let's go a bit weaker with that shadow, a bit more brown in the shadow mix, because I don't want that to show too intense. Got to be highlights, but there's also got to be a bit of shadow work as well. There we go. Fruit, whatever they are, brilliant. Just a little bit of sharpening up in place. Well, there is the finished painting. Signed the work, and as you can see, I've added one or two extra deeper shadows on the coats and trousers, just to sharpen everything up, really. But as far as I'm concerned, that is a good interpretation of what I saw on that morning at Lathcoats Farm here in Essex, Gallywood in the UK. If you hadn't already done so, please subscribe to my YouTube channel.